Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Polity, coming to you live from the studios of KAFTAN Television, King Adeyemi Film and Theatre Arts Network, commonly referred to as KAFTANTV, from Abuja, the nation's capital. My name is Macaulay Honohashi, welcoming all our esteemed viewers from around the world for joining us this afternoon on the Polity, a program that takes a deep dive into unfolding political events within Nigeria and many parts of the world. Joining me live in the studio, no other person than from our far right is Gabriel Enemali. Gabriel Enemali is KAFTAN TV's community reporter and editor. He is also a veteran journalist, a communication consultant. Enemali, you're welcome to the Polity.
Thank you, viewers. Good afternoon. And
in the middle, you can see he's a veteran who has been in the trenches for decades, reporting all spheres of life in the journalistic trenches. He is no other person than Abdul Fattah Adediran. He's also of the KAFTAN TV platform. Please, Abdul Fattah, you are welcome to this Polity.
Good afternoon, viewers. Pleasure being here.
Well, gentlemen, this is midweek, and you know the month of September is counting down. The clock is ticking. So much is happening in the Nigerian political firmament, and let's begin with you know, something that is that has dominated the media space in the last few hours. I'm talking about the speech by Mr. President, and he enumerated a lot of things. He also said he has recognized the fact that there is despondency in the land, there is widespread poverty and suffering in the land on account of the removal of subsidy, you know, that so many, all aspects of the lives of Nigerians, you know, are hanging on. Can you give us an overview of what you have seen so far about the speech of Mr. President?
I'm a bit disappointed in his speech because after the protest speech, I thought he would come out with something that will create solution and, you know, bring succor to the plight of Nigerians. Rather, what I saw was disappointing. I mean, when he said he is aware of the challenges Nigerians are going through. Come on. It means you have your children. You know that you created this problem for them and you are telling them to their face. But you are busy buying XYZ to make yourself comfortable. Is that fair? Well, when I went through all of his speech, at the end of the day, highly disappointed. I don't know his handlers, what they felt or what they are taking Nigerians for. Is so disturbing and not encouraging at all. And of course, you can see the reverse is the case in the society. The people are not happy. The poverty, the hunger, the deprivation is just increasing by the day. People can hardly go out. You and I are feeling it. Have 5,000 naira, you can barely, in fact, you ask yourself, I thought I had 5,000 naira just now. So there is no hope from his speech because I thought probably haven't you spent over a year in the office, that renewed hope he was talking about, we will begin to see it. But again, nothing. When he went further, he said his government or administration has no choice but to put Nigeria in this kind of sustainable path. Where? How? Where, I mean, where is this foundation of this sustainability that he's talking about? Where we are not producing anything, where we are not doing anything, where people cannot go to the farm, where people are scared to even go to bed. You're going to bed, you know, hungry. Families are not happy. People are falling down, dying day by day. And you said economic sustainable part. Well, I find it difficult to understand this sustainable part because I've tried to look at his policies. I think
Enemali, yes, from your own point of view, you need a clear path.
Yes.
Before you can even talk about sustaining it.
Absolutely.
It's like talking about light at the end of the tunnel.
Thank you.
Why many people say there's no even tunnel
in sight. I'm from the rural community. I just came back. I mean, everybody is just not happy. You are not happy with yourself. In fact, you are angry with yourself, you are angry with the nation because you cannot go to the farm, and if you dare go to the farm, it's either insecurity will chase you away or you come back, you have nothing to show. The little you have from the farm, you want to take it to the market, you send it to the market, sell it, the money is nowhere to be found. So come on, there is no part, please. There's no part.
Okay, Abdul Fattah, let me quote Mr. President's speech verbatim where he said, exactly 64 years ago, you know, our founding fathers chose democracy as a form of government and launched the dream of a great country that will lead the rest of Africa out of poverty, ignorance, and underdevelopment. A beacon of hope to the rest of Africa and the world. That was what Mr. President, and he went further to say, over 6 decades later, we can look back and Nigerians worldwide can see how well we have succeeded in realizing the lofty dreams of our founding fathers. What's your reaction to that? Why are you chuckling, Enamali?
Believe you me, I see this as mere political rhetoric. In the sense that we missed the path long time ago. And this government that came chanting renewed hope, people were hopeful that the needful will be done, that smiles will be put on the faces of the ordinary man on the street. But the reverse is the case. Like my brother said, is it the insecurity in the land? Is it the high cost of living? You know, you don't keep people to remain despondently hopeless. If I may say, the political handlers of the Mr. President with due sense of responsibility have missed the mark a long time ago. In the sense that removal of subsidy, we know, has been an issue in the political arena of the country a long time ago before now, and it is something that ought to be done. But the problem is, at what point in time do we go into this?
Okay.
To me and to many other Nigerians, Mr. President will have waited to put at least some poverty alleviation program on the line, transportation, ways of easing transportation, maybe rolling out some thousands of CNG buses, which people are yet to see in most parts of this country. If he had done that, and people had started adjusting to the new system, of course it will bring down the high cost of transportation, and in fact, it will further give succor to a lot of vehicle owners who will even rather take buses to and fro their workplaces than the stress of driving and hooting and the rest. Then, by the time people are becoming comfortable that way, you now announce the removal of subsidy. Honestly, Nigerians will have even welcomed it. But then, the first thing Mr. President did, with all the sense of with due respect, was removing the fuel subsidy before putting in place, or before thinking of putting in place some of these measures. It takes time to import some of these buses. It takes time to fix them. I mean, that is one. Then secondly, coming to food security, in any nation in the world that cannot beat its chest, that cannot guarantee food security, the independence of that country is shaky. Because that country will be left at the mercy of the foreign countries from where you import your food and goods. Come to think of it, a lot of companies, a lot of industries, factories have relocated from Nigeria. Reason being, multiple taxation, unstable power supply, insecurity, and the rest, and high cost of production. I thought Mr. President will have at least put in place some measures to check this trend.
Okay. Okay, let me come to Gabriel Namali. Mr. President, I've followed his speech with very, very keen interest, very, very keenly. And he also mentioned that the world has witnessed or is still witnessing the can-do spirit of the Nigerian people. He talked about massive intellectual capacity, our enterprise, and industry in all vocations. And many people seem to suggest that his speechwriters had a problem in about, couching, all those lofty ideas, putting them into one place for Mr. President to write, because it's like a repetition of what we keep hearing each time there was a speech for Mr. President to deliver.
He said, "It's my turn." Didn't they read the speech to his hearing before he finally read it out? Did he monitor it?
I doubt if he did.
So, he should take the blame.
Yeah, the buck stops at his table.
Because everything starts and ends on his table.
Yes.
That's right.
So you can't tell. Everybody knows that Nigerians are creative, Nigerians are intelligent, Nigerians are hardworking, Nigerians are resilient, Nigeria wants to work. Nigerians are not beggars. Sir, since he came into power or into office, you can check the number of companies that have folded, small companies. For instance, we the farmers are finding it difficult to go to farm. We are finding it difficult. So saying all of this, like my friend will always say and tell him, he said that is called effective English. That has no action. I mean, for how long Mr. Elcom will say the same thing, you too, and you came and you told us it's my turn, and they read the same thing to you again and again. And okay, how was able to galvanize all the good heads? I'm not sure if he still have a good economic team up to now. I don't know. So these are the things that he read this out. You have read it so. And so what? Anybody can sit down and write this. So if you have read this out, did you back it up with action? Nigerians are tired though. We are tired of hearing talk. In fact, when the speech was coming, somebody said, well, it's the same thing now. Even if I sit down, I don't sit down at the same thing.
Yeah, the same thing.
And he was vindicated. So nobody wants to even, if you mention government, you see, go to the rural community. I challenge those who call themselves in government, let them go to the rural community. They are afraid. Why are they afraid? Because they have not done the needful. Okay,
he said they took over the reins of governance at a dizzying crossroads, because the economy was largely impaired and that insecurity had pervaded the entire length and breadth of this country. So they had a choice to choose between two paths: reforms for progress and prosperity, or carry on business as usual and collapse. And he also emphasized that his government decided to take the reform process.
What is the reform process?
For a better political trajectory, in terms of economy and defense architecture.
So what is the reform? He is talking about they took over. Is he not part of the government? He was the party leader of that same government.
Okay, he was party leader.
Was he not part of them? When the whole thing was derailing, what did he say? So he cannot exonerate himself. He's part of them. And it's the continuation. Don't forget, he said where Buhari stops, he's going to continue. So why is he exonerating himself? You cannot sit down and point one finger to another person, others will not point at you. So all of this thing doesn't make sense to anybody. We all know he was a party leader for 8 years that they were in government, and then he continued from where the government stopped. Well, if that is his own reform, after 1 year, this is the reform. After 1 year, this is the hunger. After 1 year, this is the poverty. Sir, if Nigeria is signatory to Sustainable Development Goals, right, 1 to 17 shouldn't have been a difficult task to fix. Why do we have insecurity? Goal number 16, injustice. See, we are only lucky that Nigerian youth did not get angry after the cancellation of the, after mentioning him as president. They would have taken to the street. But everybody thought they would settle from the court. But you see, it's like we are sitting on a keg of gunpowder. I'm scared.
Now, talking about keg of gunpowder, let me come to you. Mr. President also itemized some of the deliverables, accruing to Nigerian people. In terms of security, he said he's happy to announce to us, as he called us compatriots, that the administration is winning the war on terror and banditry. And let me quote him here. He said, within 1 year, our government has eliminated Boko Haram and bandit commanders faster than ever. As of the last count, over 300 Boko Haram and bandit commanders have been eliminated by our gallant troops in the northeast, northwest, and so other parts of the country. Do you agree?
I take that with a pinch of salt. In the sense that insecurity still prevails all over the land. And I'm sounding this note of warning with all sense of responsibility to our security agencies. I pray Abuja, the federal capital territory, does not become a victim. It's not overrun by terrorists.
Why do you say so?
Because feelers have it that these people are all over the place, close to the federal capital city. In fact, they are in some parts of the city, in rural areas. some of our security operatives are aware. It's one thing for you to gather intelligence reports, another for you to work on it. Tons and tons of intelligence reports have been given to security operatives, not only about terrorists, not only about kidnappers, Boko Haram and the rest. Take, for instance, what happened in Kuje some years ago, I think about a year or two ago. The government, the security operatives had tons and tons of information about the pending raid of Kuje security prisons. Nothing was done about it until these people struck, and it struck for about, they operated for about an hour or more than, and there was no visible challenge to these people.
Okay.
So we should sit up. We shouldn't be sitting, we shouldn't act like the ostrich, burying our head in the soil while
our entire body is out.
The entire body is outside.
Okay, let's open our telephone line for viewers to begin to call in so that they can make the program conversational and interactive. At this point, yes, the telephone number is right there on your screen. Please begin to call in our vibrant callers. It is your show, so that you can share your thought with us. Now, Abdul Fattah,
to add to what he
yes, you alluded, because you are going to react to his question.
Okay.
You know, most of the boundary take place within the contiguous communities to the FCT,
yes,
which at close proximity. And Mr. President also said that they have restored normalcy and thousands of our people have been able to return home. We live in the north and we're broadcasting from the northern part of the country. Answer to that question and then...
Like I said, I'm a rural community reporter. The people of Bagana in Omala local government, this is the 4th year they've not gone back home. Well, I don't know the community that have gone back home that they've told him. This is the one that I know. All the community around that area are still not back to their home. So, if you know any other, I expected him to mention village A, B, C, D, so that we can be sure of what he's talking about. Like I said, it's still part of the effective English. So, if you say you have decimated all the bandits and all of that, you have also succeeded in creating another terror in form of hunger and poverty. And that is even the worst and the worst. He has succeeded in creating another monster called hunger, poverty, disease, all affecting us. People cannot go to bed, you know, with their belly filled. Okay. Is that not terror?
Okay, let's take this caller, Gabriel. Hello, good afternoon. You are on to the Polity live from KAFTAN television.
Yeah, good afternoon. This is Engineer Ayo calling from Omoogun State.
Engineer Ayo, as usual, you are our regular caller. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, I think I'm happy with your guest today. I think this is there's no bias or there's no ethnicity different. They were saying the truth.
Okay.
Sincerely. That is just the presidential speech. This is not the first time I will be disappointed by our president's speech. If you look at during this hunger protest, he came up with the speech. The speech, I call it speechless speech, not addressing what is on ground. Now, the same speech for this Independence Day is also speechless, because you stated in your speech that you know the people are suffering, and all the solutions you are bringing us are just lies. You see, the insecurity has nothing has been done to the insecurity. This one was saying that Boko Haram is a lie. I don't know why this government although they started with lies, so I'm not surprised bringing more lies to cover up their incapability. Let me put it that way. So what I was able to bring out from the speech is just lies. You know, I don't know, maybe the president always go through the speech before coming out to read it. Some people will just write speech for him. I will just come out just to read this speech. Your guests this morning are saying the truth. The president is not even what's happening in the country. People will just write speech and you come out and this speech will even fuel anger in the country.
Thank you.
So this is what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your contribution. He has given his own perspective.
Absolutely.
And let's take a deep dive into a specific something that he mentioned that affects an entire demographic in Nigeria that constitutes the greater percentage, that is the young people. Mr. President did mention that there is, he's planning to convene what they call a National Youth Conference. Do you need a youth conference? Do you even need a conference to address issues affecting young people? Before you answer that, Gabriel Lester is calling. I'm also going to react to that. Hello, good afternoon. You're on to the Polity live from KAFTANTV. Go ahead, sir. Your name and where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Kaduna. My name is Abdul Razak.
Abdul Razak, please go ahead with your contribution.
Okay. You see, Nigerian people, they don't praise, they don't know, sometimes they don't know what they are doing. Truly, the government cannot be in everywhere. Do you understand me?
I do. Go ahead. I don't make any point. I can't understand you.
Truly, they are winning the war against all these terrorists. But some people, they don't know anything. Even though during the time of Buhari regime, you hear people are saying that if it is only this terrorism boundary free Buhari can do, it's something. But now, Tinubu is trying to do all that one. They are winning against it. Everybody is aware. But you hear what the other man is saying, that it's a lie. It's something. It's people, they don't appreciate any effort, even though you do any, even until they see that you die like this before they will appreciate that you have already gone. Do you understand me? So I just want people to know, to appreciate if something is, if somebody do you something, try to appreciate. Okay. That is my own contribution. Okay, thank you, Abdul Razak from Kaduna, for your own perspective. That is the beauty of this program. We give people the platform to ventilate their divergent views, and without recourse to any, suppressing any voice. Inamali, 30 days conference for Nigerian youths to gather so that they can be united to articulate a common position for the betterment of young people in this country. How auspicious?
First of all, do we need any conference? 30 days. 1 to 30 days.
To discuss what?
Discuss what? About what? Where? When?
That's why I talk about the speechwriters.
I don't understand. In this dispensation, don't we know our problem? Where there is no conducive environment for people to work, where youth who open his own shop with his own money, with his own idea, does not have lights to work. Which summit? Youth summit for what? Sir, if you want 100 football team in Nigeria, give them the next 3 days, they will bring them for you. You don't need any summit. We don't need any summit. Nigerians on their own are summit already. Just tell them this is what I want to do and see how we will fly with it. Sir, Nigerians youth in the last election came together and said enough, and they pushed it. They have demonstrated whatever it is that you are trying to say. So it's unfortunate that we are, like I said, the script writers again. To do, I'm sure, I challenge you, because he said it's my turn. Where is the planned program for his government the next 4 or 8 years? You go and look for it, you won't see it. How does it? I keep saying it. Anybody who is a serious government, any serious government, does not even need any plan. SDG goals 1 to 17 is enough for you. It's enough for you, sir.
So United Nations have solved 50% of their problem.
In fact, they solved it for you.
Okay, let's take this caller. Hello, good afternoon. You're on to the Polity live from KAFTAN Television. Your name, please, and where you're calling from.
My name is Pastor Paul.
Okay, go ahead, Pastor Paul. From where?
I'm from Bola.
Okay, what?
In fact, we are very, very disappointed in this government.
Okay.
Because why I see it as if that Tinubu is more than Nigeria. Because nobody is doing anything about what is going on in this country. And we are angry. People are dying. People are not happy. In fact, I don't know what we are doing. I don't know where we are going. In fact, we are hungry. So, I don't know. Because what this government is looking for, they will see it too. Because if they decided that they will use soldiers and the police to intimidate us in this country, we will come out and let us die so that our children will live.
because it's too much. Because he had made his money and none of his family is complaining. That's why I don't know what is happening in this country. All of them that is supporting him, that is eating from that table, all of them will pay for it. So my brother, you are doing a good job. I appreciate your job. Continue with your job. But all we know is that the truth must come out. God bless you.
God bless you too, Mr. Pastor Paul. We appreciate your reaction to the 30-day National Summit for Youth.
Well, actually, in my mind of minds, that 30 days proposed conference for the youth will translate to a mere jamboree for the youth, a mere waste of money, the much needed money that will have been used in some other positive means to improve the lives of the citizenry, to set up maybe one industry or two. Come to think of it, what is it in this country that the leaders, the ministers, the advisors, the honorables, the National Assembly, the president himself, what are the problems that Nigeria is facing that they are not aware? The president has told us that he is aware of the suffering of Nigerians. That's not enough. Like I said at the beginning of this program, it's just mere rhetorics. If you are aware, then do something. Do something positive in good time. A stitch in time is often said saves 9. This youth, how many of them will be, how well represented would the Nigerian youth be at that conference, that proposed conference? Chances are the political, the political class have their own interest. They will just select and pick the few ones that are loyal to them, and then you end up having nothing. You end up having people who are just praise singers, who will see nothing negative about the government because they are being sponsored by the government, and they are, I mean, they are patronizers of the government. So, I mean, what is it that you cannot discuss within 2-3 days in this country?
Okay. Enamali, in that speech, I picked something Mr. President said. He said, later this month, we are going to launch the Renewed Hope Labor Employment and Empowerment Program, LEAP, L-E-E-P. It is conceived as a comprehensive suite of intervention at job creation by the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment that is aimed at creating 2.5 million jobs, you know, directly and indirectly, you know, on an annual incremental basis, while simultaneously ensuring the welfare and safety of workers across the country.
Even you two, you are laughing, isn't it?
No, I did not laugh. I just smiled.
Now, if they want to create job, I will advise the handlers of the government, please, just go to Glojibe Industrial Zone in Benin Republic on your way to Togo and see what they have done. PPP, SDG goal number 17 put together in action. The textile unit alone empowered 1,500 youths. The cashew alone, the cashew units, each unit has 50,000 metric tons processed cashew a day. They have 5. If they want to see how such, see, anyway, let me not go there, but I'm trying to give them an eye. If they want to see how to engage the youth, let them go to CITA in Côte d'Ivoire and see how the youths are engaged. Sir, in Glojibe in Benin Republic, every section you see number of youths working. And I was like, once they are done, they were producing clothes. I thought, this is from UK. They said, no, it's from here. And machines were, I have the pictures here. Okay. They allowed me covered all of this. Yeah. So if they want, they should please just take a walk there. Ask the Benin Republic, they will give them the opportunity to go there and just see and come back home.
So just in addition to what he's saying, don't go too far. Just Abia State here. Yeah. Get to Arera Market, Arera International Market. I've been there time and again. Believe you me, on that 30 minutes, they'll show you jeans that you swear is imported.
That's correct.
Whatever it is you want, where they make suitcases and the rest. They're legion.
Okay.
You know, if government can just get there, get some of these people. I mean, let them train some other people, young people. All this money that you're going to spend at this proposal youth conference, get the youth, let them learn one artwork or the other, and then set them up. In the next 1-2 years, they themselves will end up employers of labor rather than job seekers.
Okay, anybody, let me ask you this question specifically. And I want your reaction to Nigerians paying chant for titles. You know, if you cast your mind back, you remember that Wabara was elected minister, president of the Senate.
That's correct.
And he was conferred with the highest title in the land, GCON, and then shortly after that, he was impeached on account of misappropriation and things like that. He was even being investigated. Salisu Buhari, Speaker of the House of Representatives, was conferred with that national honor. And he was also impeached on account of falsification of his age. Mr. President chose the 1st of October 2004 to confer, national honors on prominent Nigerians, and they include the Senate President and Chief Justice of the Federation, who were conferred with the honor of the Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger. The Deputy Senate President and Speaker of the House of Representatives honored with the Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, CFR, while the Deputy Speaker of the House has been awarded Commander of the Order of the Niger, CON. Why do we, because honors come with integrity. Honors come with attainment of feats, achievements in society. And they are supposed to come either when you are already exiting, you have come of age, you have proved their mettle in your chosen career. But some of them are young people, that young not in terms of age, but in terms of politics, like the Speaker of the House of Representatives. You can never tell what he can find himself embroiled in the nearest future. What do you think?
I see it as normal jamboree. I see it as Nigeria not a serious country. The day we threw away merit, the day we jettison merit for my paddy this is where we got it all wrong. Sir, can we equate them on scale and say they merited it? Put them on scale. I thought for you to graduate, you would have gone through all the rudiment in the school and pass. But of course, you and I know that. Now, to what end is this title to Nigerians or Nigeria as a nation? It's to themselves. Did you see anybody come to clap? Nobody. Because that is not the issue. That is not the burning issue right now. People are hungry. The insecurity. The hunger alone is insecurity. Why do we call it food security? So nobody cares about all of these things. Sometimes, who cares? Everybody is now thinking, how does he or she survive the next 1 hour? Or how will his children survive? So as far as I'm concerned, if you ask me, I even... What? Let them give to...
I want both of you to answer this question.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, you want to add something to it?
Just in addition to what he said, Nigeria missed the mark right from some 20-25 years ago. In this land, about 25 years ago, before you are conferred with a National Honors Award, believe me, you must have merited it.
Exactly.
You must have put your footprints on the sands of time.
Okay, let's take this caller, Abu Fatah. Hello, you're on to the Polity live from KAFTAN Television. Please, your name and where you're calling from.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Go ahead, your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, my name is Mohammed. I'm calling from Maiduguri.
Yes, Mohammed, you're our regular caller. Go ahead, please.
Yes. Please, I appreciate the panelists, honestly, with yourself. In fact, well done for the
We appreciate you for calling in.
Yes, so what I want to contribute is this. Let me use this media to appeal to some people who are not looking at what is happening outside. Please, let this our politics should be out and in. You can, from the international media, see all the crises that is happening all over the world.
Yeah.
Yet our people are not mindful of taking our resources, especially foreign exchange dollars to foreign land, keep it there while leaving us with hunger and stagnation. We are doing nothing good for ourselves. I'm not talking about particular political party or particular tribe or section. All of us as Nigerians, it's in our DNA. All of us, all the political class, I'm talking to them. Please, appealing to is this president of ASU. Please let him be realistic. Help Nigerian students. If he can go to London and attend the graduation ceremony of his daughter in London and call people's children away from campus for 8 months without going to universities. If people are angry with him, he don't know. That time when people were on strike, he was in London attending his daughter's graduation ceremony. So now he's trying to bring back this type of scenario by saying they want to go on strike for who? The strike in Nigeria is not for public services, for private sectors. Private universities are going, private hospitals are working, then government will now be going on payroll. You people should consider all this kind of injustice. Some of these injustices are things that create more pain to Nigerians, but we don't look at it. Everybody, there's a government, say, Tinubu alone, the government. Tinubu is just the president. He's one person. A tree cannot make a forest. If all of us cannot join hands together, the chairman of this Burundi change, when I was listening to BBC Hausa, he was telling us that the rate at which politicians are changing this naira to dollar at any rate, taking it out, is alarming. That is what makes our money not available at home. Foreign exchange not available at home. We should talk about it. Then the last one I want to contribute is our judiciary. This 40, what do they call it? Plea again. If you give 100 million, if you can bring back 40 million back, your sin is forgiven. That clause of that plea again, we should amend it if we cannot remove it completely. If somebody gives 100 million, you should bring back 95 million. We can consider the remaining 5 for charity and bank charges. Maybe they can do things like that. Maybe you know what I'm talking about, man. There are prominent things we are watching happening in Abuja, in Nigeria generally. We don't talk about it. Everybody is taking the blame to somebody. There's nothing like conference of students. So these students are not doing anything. Let us just do what we're supposed to do for them and then go ahead. But rather than calling what they call youth conference and waste another money in Sheraton Hotel for what? For what? Please help us talk to them. You people are in Abuja right now. And most of the problem in Nigeria emanated from Abuja itself. Thank you. God bless all of you.
Thank you, Mohammed. He raised 4 fundamental issues. Could you react to that? Itemize them one
Number one, he talked about
in 3 minutes.
SDG goal, quality education. It is shameful on us that we allow public school to die. Look at the same people who benefited from public school, got their own private school and killed the public school to the detriment of the poor masses. Their children, they should be ashamed of themselves, going out to go and snap picture with their children that they went to school in London or whatever, and then you allow your own to die.
Double standards.
Double standard. In fact, I keep saying it, lack of law and order. The reason why everything starts and ends on the table of Tinubu is because he is the president. If he says anybody who takes his son or his daughter out to another school in abroad should be XYZ should be done to him, nobody will do that. Nobody. Number two, he did talk about I talked about quality of education. Now, law and order is our #1 challenge. Nobody has been brought to book. The Burundi change that they are taking, Nigerians that are taking our money out, changing it into other currency and taking them out. How many people have been caught? How many people have been taken to prison? Where is the law? And that is why there is no way you will talk about it if, without ending it on the table of the president. The president is the alpha and omega. He has the knife, he has the yam. He decides how he wants to cut it. So, sir, if the president meant well, let him stand firm and tell us that XYZ must stop. And let make some few persons culprit.
Okay.
And if that is not done, we will continue on all of this. That is why the thing starts and ends on his table.
Fatah, react to that quickly.
Well, just to buttress what he's saying, the essence of crime and punishment is to act as a deterrent to other people who are contemplating same. But when people commit crime, heinous crimes at that, and they go scot-free, then you are encouraging lawlessness, you are encouraging criminality in the country. And no country can grow with a heavy burden of criminality hanging on its leg. Okay, let's take this call, Abdul Fatah. Hello, good afternoon. You are on to the Polity Live from KAFTAN Television. Is your show? Please go ahead. Your name and where you're calling from.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Go ahead.
Is that human rights commission?
No, this is KAFTAN Television, and you are on to the Polity, a program that discusses Nigerian politics. Thank you. Now, we are winding down on this topic. Abdul Fatah, let me continue and then round down with NMali. the third to the last paragraph of Mr. President's speech, he mentioned something about the Nigerian spirit. He said, "We are Nigerians, resilient and tenacious. We always prevail and rise above our circumstances." This is the words of Mr. President. We always, prevail and rise above our circumstances. Could that be the reason why, some of these policies are anti-people? Because the Nigerian man is known to be resilient and tenacious. He will always survive. You can see we are still surviving in spite of the rise, the hike, multiple taxations, hike, fuel price hike, the food prices have shot through the roof. Nigerians could barely survive. There's widespread poverty and hunger across the length and breadth of Nigeria. Mr. President has acknowledged that. He said, "We are Nigerians, resilient and tenacious. We can always prevail and rise above our circumstances."
Much as that is true, the government should not capitalize on that.
Take us for
to
granted.
further oppress us and to take us for granted. There's a limit to which the people, the good people of this land, can tolerate things. When you push even a lamb to the wall, it turns back to bite you.
Okay.
So I pray the government does not push the masses, the ordinary masses, who wield the political power and entrust it on the political class to hold in trust for them.
Beautiful. I love that. Inamali.
Well, he used one hand to slap himself. I used it right to slap himself again. You see, just like he said, he should not take Nigerians for granted, because whatever he's saying is the truth. Everybody knows that everywhere in the world, they know Nigerians are dogged people. They know Nigerians are resilient. They know that Nigerians, once they mean something, look, he should not allow this to be the other side.
Okay. The United Nations General Assembly 79 had come and gone, and it took place at the headquarters of the United Nations in New York, United States of America, and Nigeria was fully represented with delegation led by the Vice President of this country, Kashim Shettima. We're going to take a look at the outcomes and way forward, but that will be after this short break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. If you are just joining us, you're on to the Polity live from KAFTAN Television Studios in Abuja, King Adeyemi Film and Theatre Arts Network, commonly referred to as KAFTANTV, live from the studios of the TV station in Abuja, the nation's capital. And we are taking a look at Nigeria at 64, analyzing Mr. President's speech. Now we're going to shift gears after this short break to take a look at the recently concluded UNGA, United Nations General Assembly, where Nigeria was fully represented with delegation led by Vice President Kashim Shettima, who represented our President, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We're taking a look at the outcomes and way forward. Enamali is still with me in the studio, as well as Abdul Fattah Adediro. Let's take a look at UNGA. How would you assess our, presence there as we just concluded UNGA?
If you ask me, it's a normal, we must always go and mark register. Because if we cannot achieve the first 6 goals, as far as I'm concerned, we only went there to go and mark register so that they will not say, the big brother Africa is not there. As far that's my own, because that's my take. If Nigeria is signatory to SDG and cannot achieve the first 6, sir, it's just business as usual. They only went there, collect whatever they want to collect, mark register, and then come back. And that's how I just simply want to put it. Because at the end of the day, whatever was discussed, none will be executed. Whatever is... So, look
why are you so pessimistic?
I'm not pessimistic. It's the reality. I'm a realist.
Okay.
The hunger is the hunger not real?
It's real.
Nigeria signed SDG Goal 17. Is it not real?
It's real.
It's in the book. Go there, Nigerians. But have we achieved 1 to 6? It's the reality. So I'm not being pessimistic. It's just the reality, the way it is. Like I said, I'm a journalist. I'm not an image maker. I don't know how to even do it. So if we are to talk about...
You can't launder image.
No, sir, I'm not. If you if that you pay me that, I'll tell you, hold it, I'm not interested.
It's Macaulay.
So please, let us be fair to ourselves. There is no point lying. How much is the truth selling? That is the liar or puts, be advertising lie. It is not. It's the truth. SDG goal number 1 talks about poverty eradication. Number 2, hunger. Number 3, good health and well-being. Number 4, quality education. Number 5, gender equality. Number 6, clean water and sanitation. These 6 I have mentioned. Tell me one place, one community.
You just decided to stop at number 6 because they are,
I don't want. There's no point.
Beyond 6. Yeah. Sure.
There's no point. So going there is just like, let's go and mark register and come back.
Do you believe we just there to mark register?
Actually, we just went there, to the best of my knowledge, to mark register and to showcase our wealth.
So you concur with him? Okay, showcase our wealth. In what way did we showcase our wealth?
In the sense that if you see the luxury vehicles that our delegations rode into that place,
and the plush hotels.
Whereas some other delegates from other countries just join in the jeep, the vehicles, there could be 4, 5 or 6 inside the vehicle. For goodness sake, the humongous amount government spent on such trips would have been drastically reduced. That's one. Then secondly, talking of the SDG, even during the MDG, that's Millennium Development Goals, what percentage did we achieve? Then come the SDG. There's hunger in the land, there's desperation, then out-of-school children, medical tourism, and what is it? Access to quality medical facilities is nil. In fact, I'll rate it -1. Malaria now has become an executive illness. A lot of people are ill, they cannot afford to go to the hospital due to the high cost of drugs. Here is the federal government saying they have waived the import duties on drugs and other essential items. But then, here we are again in the market, in the open market. These items are far beyond the reach of ordinary man. Talk of the terminal diseases like hypertension, cancer, asthma, diabetes, and the rest. The drugs are out of reach of the ordinary man. What is the government doing about it? It's a pity. I want to sound a note of warning and an advice to the government, because it is our responsibility to set agenda for the government. The rate at which we're having out-of-school children now is alarming, and we're training, or we're bringing up a team of, God forbid, bad thing, people who are likely to rebel against the system because they don't have anything at stake. Like William Shakespeare said, he who is down needs fear no fall. They don't have anything at stake, so anything goes. And I pray that government should check this. You go to so many cities, you see hundreds or thousands of youth who are supposed to be in school. They're there begging, and some are involved in criminal activities, because an idle hand is the devil's workshop. So it's said, and which is true. Okay. So government should check that.
To add up to this, just today, a man withdrew 3 of his children to the house. He said, I can't afford the fee. Please sit down for now. When the situation is better, you will go to school.
Okay. We're talking about SDG goals. Anybody, let me come to you. Inflation rate in Nigeria, we all know, is beyond 40%. And the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics released a figure, 4 or 5 days ago, of unemployment rate in Nigeria that rose from 5.0% in last quarter of 2023 to 5.3% in first quarter of 2024. Now, Nigeria is indebted to multilateral donor agencies, to the tune of 121 trillion naira, which is an equivalent of $94 billion US. And we went to the United Nations begging for debt forgiveness. If we are forgiven, would you say there are tangible, and physical development you can see to justify, the amount we are indebted to? That's 121 trillion naira.
I don't think they will even answer them.
You don't think so?
No. You borrowed money. You didn't do anything. You're asking me to come and forgive you. I don't think, right from the day they started borrowing, after Obasanjo asked for debt cancellation, which they did, and then from then till date, the money that they have collected, there's nowhere you will go and say, this is what the money they collected they've used for, and this is the benefit to the people. So I will never allow them to forgive Nigeria. Their children too are going to be part of those who are going to pay. So they should not come. They misuse the money and do whatever they want to do with it. No, sir, it's not allowed. In fact, I don't understand why they keep giving Nigeria loan, when we have everything to ourselves here. Where countries that we're supposed to take care of, we're not asking them to give us money. So, as far as I'm concerned, that forgiveness of the loan, first of all, Nigerians, we must rise against all of that. They that collected should go and pay it, or they should leave it like that, so that their own children too should be part of those that will pay for it. As far as I'm concerned, there's nothing in the construction sector. Do you know thousands of Nigerians that are out of job because there's no work to be done?
Absolutely.
I challenge you, from Gwagwalada to Lokoja, how many construction companies are working? I challenge you, from Kaduna to Kano, how many construction companies are working? Do you know the multiplier effect that is involved in just one sector, construction company sector? So, my brother, no justification to that loan, and so they should not cancel that debt.
I think cancellation is very, very key, because borrowing is allowed, is legal, so long as you're going to repay. But my concern is, when you borrow, what do you do with it? African nations are all guilty of borrowing, and the monies find their ways into private pockets. When you borrow and you put it in the productive sector that will earn you revenue, with a view to making more money and then using part of that money to repay your loan, that is sustainable, and it is very, very good. But in Africa, and particularly talking about our country, Nigeria, all those monies that are borrowed, and states equally have this wherewithal or latitude to go borrowing, after getting approval from the National Assembly. I remember the case of El-Rufai, when he wanted to borrow about $400 million US.
Yes.
And then, because Shehu Sani was a senator and they disagreed, he didn't see the reason for El-Rufai as his governor to borrow that money.
That's correct.
They fell apart. It created a friction, and then it's so, he worked against Shehu Sani's return to the National Assembly. And today, the same El-Rufai that found his way through the same governor that succeeded him, battling it out. He's been accused of misappropriation of over 800 billion naira. So I understand your point, but okay, you want to say something?
Well, actually, like he rightly said, I see no justifiable reason whatsoever under the earth for any country to forgive Nigeria its debt at this material point in time. In the sense that, like you said, it's quite legal to borrow, but then you must have tangible things to show for it. Not in an instance where you borrow only to continue to live an ostentatious life while the citizenry wallow in abject poverty. That is the issue. Given the natural resources, the solid mineral resources we have in this land, believe you me, given an effective management of such resources, Nigeria has no reason whatsoever to go up cap in hand in any country of the world or any agency of the world borrowing. We have all it takes to be great, but we have refused to harness such resources to the advantage of the greater Nigerians.
Okay. Sir, let me give you an example. I want to use KAFTAN as a typical example. They have succeeded in demonstrating SDG goal number 7. I am going to read it out. It's simple. They have executed it. It says affordable and clean energy. Since I know KAFTAN, they are on solar.
Yeah.
I beg the Nigerian government to come to KAFTANTV and see what they have done. I am very, very sure Aso Rock is on generator. Let them come and see. We have abundance of sunlight everywhere. I wish all of this money, if this is what they could use, to electrify everywhere, Nigerians will be doing a lot of things on their own without even looking back. AC is here. Heavy duty machines are all on solar. KAFTAN, please, Oga, that put all of this together.
Kudos.
Well done. The last time I saw the generator all lying down fallow, I said, when they told me how much they consume on generator diesel alone, and I said, wonderful. Whosoever took this initiative took a bold step. Nigerian government should come and learn from this, so that if they borrow money, they say they want to give people light, we should see light.
Okay. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, we're going to shift gears to the international scene and take a look at Israeli war, Israeli-Gaza war, that is taking a different and disturbing dimension. That'll be after the break. Please stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Yeah, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the Polity coming to you live from the studios of KAFTAN Television in Abuja, the nation's capital. My name has not changed. It is still Macaulay Hunashi, and the two guests with me in the studio have not left. They are still Gabriel Enamali, a media consultant and KAFTAN TV's community reporter and editor, as well as Abdul Fattah Adeyemi, a man who has been in the journalistic trenches for decades and he has not tired. He's still here with me in the studio discussing Nigerian unfolding political events and beyond the shores of Nigeria. We have taken a look at Nigeria at 64, and we have analyzed Mr. President's speech, and we have also taken a look of UNGA, 79 United Nations General Assembly, 79 the outcomes and way forward. And we are now shifting gears to talk about Israeli-Gaza war that is taking a disturbing and different dimension. There's so much tension, Gabriel, in the Middle East.
That's correct.
From October 7th to the last year, that's 2023, when Hamas, the militant arm of Palestinian PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization, invaded Israel, invaded a party or a cinema, show, and killed some Israelis, and then abducted some of them as hostages.
That's correct.
Israel, decided to retaliate, and it has sustained a war against the Gazans. So many people have died, including journalists, our colleagues. And as at yesterday, it has taken a different dimension. Israel is fighting Hamas in the southern flank. Now in the northern flank, they are fighting Hezbollah. In the southwestern part, they are fighting the Houthis from Yemen. And Iran has just joined the war, and Iran has been alleged to be funding, or it was a proxy war against Israelis by the by militants sponsored and supported by Iranians. As of yesterday, Iranians have fired 200 missiles towards Israel with minimal casualty. And Americans have decided to also send additional troops. They said to secure their interest.
That's correct.
What's your reaction about what's happening in the Middle East?
It's unfortunate that the world is becoming another thing. I don't understand why the world cannot live in peace with each other. Whatever is the problem, I expected them to sit down and settle it. You see, there is no way you will attack anybody. For every action, there is a reaction. And this reaction, only him that is going to react knows the level or the momentum he's bringing to attack you.
That's right.
Now, Gaza attacked on the 7th. Israel started. On the 8th, Hezbollah started shooting the north, or hitting the northern part, to a point that over 60,000 Israelis were evacuated from the northern part. And Israel keeps saying, no, stop this. And what Israel was saying is simple. Release the hostages, and all of this thing will stop. But instead, they kept keeping them. Now the whole thing has turned to another dimension. It's unfortunate that even the international community have not found a solution to all of this. The most annoying thing again is Iran, as at yesterday, throwing her weight into all of this. But I can assure you, Israel will not forgive. They will attack and attack hard. Now, my only problem is that the innocent soul that will die,
exactly,
that doesn't even know anything about all of this. And that is why to start a war is easy, but when and how it will end,
you don't know the end.
You don't know the end. And as fast as possible, if there's anything they can do, Israel, USA, other big shots will come in and see how they can quell all of this. If not, the moment, just the same yesterday or day before yesterday, Israel, ground incursion into
Southern
Lebanon. They've entered too. Yeah. Now, only a lot of millions of them are running away because they don't know how it's going to end. Look at the pictures we are seeing of Gaza.
Exactly.
It's horrible. It's devastating. Yes. A beautiful place. Now is now rubbled. The same thing will happen to Lebanon or Hezbollah, Lebanon, and then not to talk about Iran. Israel, they will attack Iran and attack it very hard. Watch out what we'll see in the nearest future.
Let me ask you, America is the biggest ally to the Israelis, but I personally hold the view that America has double standards. Whenever the American leaders talk, particularly their president, they talk about they call for ceasefire, yet they are supplying arms.
Absolutely.
What's the reaction to that?
It's a pity that it's often said, he whom the gods wants to destroy must make crazy. Netanyahu has been one of the worst prime ministers in history in Israel. I stand to be corrected. Even the Israelis have had to protest against the further dehumanization of people on the Gaza Strip and other places. Israel will say, move to the south is secure. The moment people start moving there, they shell them. For goodness sake, you are destroying innocent souls. It doesn't speak well of us. We have debased the common humanity in us, number one. Then America, like I said, I will recommend to my viewers to read J.P. Clark's America the America, a novel he published in 1967. There you will see the raw deal of America, the double standard of America, talking from both sides of the mouth. Okay,
let me hold your thoughts there. We'll come back to the double standard of America. We're going to, take off from there. But that'll be after this short break. We will return. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. This is the Polity. If you are just joining us live from KAFTAN television studios in Abuja, the nation's capital. Gabriel, you were talking.
Yeah, I was talking of the double standard of America, and because they're looking for market for their arms and armaments, which they have produced in their numbers, so they edge countries against countries in order to sell their arms and ammunition, and they smile to the bank. Never mind the number of people that have been wiped off the surface of the earth. And I happen to have at least first-hand experience with the United States of America, so to say. When they'll plant somebody on you, on a country or on an institution, as either a lecturer, a teacher, a doctor, or whatever, but he is there as a spy, spying on you, spying on the country. And unfortunately enough, because a lot of us Nigerians are not security conscious, all these things go. I tell you, for instance, some 15, 20 years ago, in NTA Abuja, where I served for 35 years, a lady came on a weekend to ask after my general manager. I said he wasn't around. She was holding something like a cigar. But given the rightful exposure, I knew that was not a cigarette, it was a camera. So I just told her, please, can you switch off that gadget? She was shocked. So she asked me when the general manager will be around again. I said, I don't know. He comes at will. She said she will come back. She never did. I had an experience way back in 1976 with due sense of responsibility. I was part of the team that was to represent the 16 northern states at a national debate in then RTK, Radio Television Kaduna. Our housemaster, one Mr. Donald Fuller, a black American, gathered some of us, about 4 or 5 of us, after the assembly on that Friday, February 13th, and told us that, do we know that our head of state, General Murtala Ahmed Mohammed, had been killed? We dismissed it with a wave of the hand. We headed for Kaduna for the debate that never held. By the time we arrived in Kaduna, RTK was surrounded with military men. We were taken to a restaurant to have our breakfast and come back. Only by the time we came back, they said they've postponed the whatever. It was on our way back to Funtua from Kaduna, a distance of about 148 kilometers. It
turned out to be true.
Yes, that it turned out to be true when the school driver put on the radio and we were hearing martial music. By the time we arrived at the school, Government Secondary School Funtua, that man, Mr. Donald Fuller, had disappeared into the thin air with his family. It was only after, much after, that it was discovered that this man was a CIA agent.
They're everywhere.
There was an experience in Bayero University. I'm speaking of facts, it can be cross-checked. One Professor Hart, the then Dean Faculty of Sciences, in 1981, he advised the university authority to import a machine, an equipment that was to be used at the faculty. But late Professor Dr. Bola Muhammad of blessed memory, we tagged him intellectual gorilla, because this man, even though he read political science, but he was versatile when it comes to the sciences. He told the Senate, the University Senate, that, Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, this facility is quite okay, it's good for the university, but then they should keep a tab on its usage, because it could be used to spy on the country. The Vice Chancellor dismissed it. Shortly after that very day, the Senate had a meeting in the morning. By evening, 6 o'clock, Professor Hart had committed suicide. He left a suicide note and pleading with Nigeria.
What does that tell you?
So I'm coming. 2-3 months after that time, the new campus on the Funtua Road was under construction. It was 2 months after the death of Professor Hart that the University Security System Network discovered that Professor Hart and his cohorts had an airstrip on the new campus that was under construction. So aircrafts were landing and taking off without anybody's knowledge.
So what does that tell you? From what you just narrated, it tells you about the potency of intelligence network, which Nigeria is largely lacking, which Israel has through Mossad.
Absolutely.
The Israeli, security intelligence is Mossad.
They have the
in America,
Mossad,
is CIA.
They have the Shimbet.
They have the Shimbet.
8200.
200, and then the IDF.
And these 4 of them,
very
fantastic.
Take a look at how they tracked and they killed. I'm talking about the Hezbollah, the Hezbollah Nasrallah, how they killed Nasrallah, and how they even killed some of the commanders through their pagers and the walkie-talkies. It was well orchestrated and well planned.
They took their time.
It takes the intelligence community to do that.
Yes.
That is exactly what Nigeria is lacking.
Absolutely. Sorry, sir. Would you say we're actually lacking them? I could gather information and say XYZ is about to happen. Probably I'm not the executor. I shift it to you. When you don't execute it, Is that my fault?
Look,
It's not your fault.
you remember at the beginning of this program, I said something the sort. When terrorism just set in into Nigeria about 7, 8, 9 years ago, I hinted some security operatives. I gave them intelligence report, but they debunked it. Much later, what are we into?
Last month, here in Abuja, we have a proscribed religious faith group called the Shiite. They mobilized. They took months, perhaps weeks, or even a year, to mobilize. And they mobilized using the social media that is available to the security agencies. They converged in Abuja. In the middle of Abuja, killed 2 policemen, burned down security vehicles.
And nothing happened.
And nothing happened. If that that's why I've talked about failure of intelligence. But he explained to me that it may not be failure of intelligence. It may not be. It may be that the information is not well processed. Somebody will kill it, you know, at the end of after it's been gathered.
On social media, you see all of this thing happening. But if you bring it out, they say, no, come on, it's not going to be real. And it's going to be real.
So now let me ask you.
Yes.
The Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, has been banned from entering Israel over his response to Israel's ballistic missiles bombardment.
Yes.
You know, he's been banned. Not because of Iran's missile bombardment to Israel, but because of Israel, his comment. He said in his, he tweeted that the broadening of the Middle East conflict was escalating after escalation. So he's been banned. Is there any implication?
Well, don't forget, though Israel is small, they have power.
Yeah.
Backed by a lot of other European countries and all of that. And
America.
And since they say he's banned, watch out in the next few weeks or months, you see what will happen to him. Whatever they say, they mean it. And whenever they mean it, for them to also say it, they would have communicated all their allies. And when somebody, I don't know, on your program, when we're talking about United Nations, how united are they?
Yeah, it was.
We are united by that name, but there's cabal inside the United Nations.
Cluster of
this, the NATO one side, the WATO one side, and all of that. And that is why it pains me that Nigeria is nowhere to be found. Where we are even supposed to hold ground, the ECOWAS or the African Union, we are not there.
There is agitation for 2 African countries to be on the permanent seat.
Yes.
Of the United Nations, and Nigeria has been agitating.
Nigeria is agitating because you can't even get it because you have not taken care of your home.
What do you have to show for it?
What do you have to show?
We don't have ambassadors.
If you cannot have,
that's 1 year.
You cannot have a family where the senior brother is not responsible, and then you expect the junior ones to respect him. They will not. So Nigeria, being the bigger brother, is not doing what he's supposed to do. And that's why others are contesting with him. Naturally, if Nigeria is doing what he's doing, we don't even have to apply. Come and take your seat. Simple. Sir, tell me what we lack in this country. Tell me. Nothing. Leadership is our problem. But every other thing, we have them in abundance. Nigeria can match with any country when it comes to, look at a few weeks ago, over 200 doctors were licensed in the UK. All left Nigeria. Now, others are also on the waiting list to leave.
Sure.
Some that were taken to Dubai, some Turkey and co. Now Nigeria, every hospital you go, highest you see, if you see 2 doctors, you try. You try. So is that not a disaster waiting? And that is why for some of us we have resorted to go into the our folklore medicine because that is the only savior. If you go to the hospital, you can't afford it. Go to the drug, you can't afford it. So let's go back to our folklore medicine, and that's what is.
How true is it that there are nations that fuel this conflict so that they can sell weapons?
War is business.
Big time business.
War is business, sir. So if I have weapon, probably I've not sold them for some time, and here's an opportunity to sell. Definitely I'll start to come and just test this thing, and then you pay me money. Or I have produced newer version, and then this older version is taking space. Let me create war so that we can test it.
You edge one country against the other.
Absolutely. So it's business, big business, and that is why you see people are making hell of money from arms and ammunition sales.
Okay, now, where's the place of African countries? Because this, there must be interdependence. We know we depend on them for. I'm talking about these big nations. Russia is fighting Ukraine. Our grains come from there, particularly with, now Israel. We depend on. Okay, let's take this caller. Hello, good afternoon. You are on to the Polity Live from KAFTAN Studios in Abuja.
Hello, good afternoon. Please, sorry, my name is Mohammed. I call back.
Go ahead, Mohammed. It's your show.
My contribution about this issue of the last one, the topic you are mentioning about sponsorship. We in Maiduguri, we've seen this thing clearly. Arresting or kill white people among the Boko Haram and the Boko Haram Abakar Shekop openly told his people, which was everybody heard about it, that they are receiving money from one of the embassy in Bamako. When they brought the money, Abakar Shekop refused to give the money to Barnawi group, that he is the one that's killing people. So why, if it becomes the money, why is he going to give the money to Barnawi group? So based on that, they wanted to arrest him and he detonate and kill himself with other people. So this information revealed to all the people in Bono that, look, so which means people were giving money, paying them. Many of them were arrested with American dollars in their pockets as their own allowances or pay. So as this man is saying that war is business, is not a lie. I agree completely, war is a business. we Nigeria brought the policy of feed yourself, or farm and produce and feed yourself. Some countries that are exporting their expired rice to Nigeria are not happy. They are doing everything possible to make sure that the prices, all this agricultural production area in Benue, North Central, everywhere where rice and other things are being produced in large quantities, they created this artificial problem so that those farmers that we depend on for production of those crops should not have peace. So this is something that Nigeria should look at. It's beyond thinking. Because some people are after politics, NPA, PPP, APC, whatever. It is not political. It is sometimes from outside. We fail to understand what is happening outside to us. Let me tell you clearly. You are calling Nigeria giant of Africa. Agree, Nigeria is giant of Africa. Do you think all those people who are looking at us as giant are happy with us? This is the fact. If you are progressing, definitely you know you have enemies or envious, those who are jealous of you. They can do anything to bring you down. Unfortunately, our political class are not helping us by knowing our status. Let us maintain our integrity, move ahead. We don't think of all this. These are the problems we are having in this country. Please help us tell them. They are in Abuja, all of them. They are changing from one party to another. Me, I'm not after their party. But let us be Nigerians and let us have a country as a Nigeria. Just before we think about any other thing, let us be seeing what is happening outside and look for prevention. Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. We are winding down. 40 seconds. Your last thoughts. 40 seconds. Your last thoughts, so that we call it a day.
Oh well, I just wish that our leaders are seeing the reality, and for them to wake up and face the reality head on. Let us have a deliberate, for the first time, let's have a deliberate effort to changing these negative narratives that is bedeviling our economy, our polity, virtually everything in Nigeria. We are too big, we are too large to go hungry, to go poor, and to go to become the poverty capital of the world.
Well, like it's often said in security parlance, you know, you have to be up and doing. Vigilance is the price of freedom in security parlance, and so it is in ordinary life. Our leaders need to be vigilant. We need to be an ear to the ground, and we need to accept or welcome positive contributions by people. The federal government should please, in the name of God, have a look at this issue of GMO. As an agriculturalist, I can tell you better what it means. It has a large-scale negative implication for the continued survival of this country as a nation and for the survival of our people. Because GMO seeds, once you eat them, you throw them off or you plant them, they don't grow again. You need to go back to the providers who sold those improved seeds to you year in, year out. That means in turn, they have the right to determine at what price they sell it to you. On the same soil, because it keeps the nitrogens in the soil. If you bring back the local seedlings and plant it, it will not germinate. And it has its impact, negative impact, medical-wise, causes cancer, liver cirrhosis, kidney problem, and the rest.
Okay. Well, thank you, Gabriel Enamali, for coming to the Polity today.
Thank you very much.
Before I don't take you joining me for granted. Thanks.
Thank you
so profoundly.
God bless you.
Well, that's the size of our package. I thank our vibrant viewers and our vibrant callers as well for making the program interactive and conversational. I would like to reiterate at this juncture that all comments by our vibrant callers were their personal opinion. There has no relationship absolutely with the editorial policy of KAFTAN Television and its management. From me, Macaulay Hunashi, on behalf of our producer Ruben Opkara and the entire production team, particularly my guys in the master control room, bye-bye and thanks for joining me. See you next time.